The Idaho Office of Emergency Management is working to create a new high-speed mobile network for emergency first responders. Responders Network of Idaho will be an exclusive broadband mobile channel for first responders. It's expected to be a huge improvement over the existing communications networks.
Idaho FirstNet and the National Public Safety Broadband Network is really a great step forward for first responders. Unfortunately, the events from September 11th was a very tragic day in our country where a lot of first responders just couldn't communicate with each other and a lot of lives were lost. So what Congress did is that they created the First Responder Network Authority from that event, and that was a really important investment from our federal government.
A nationwide dedicated broadband network called FirstNet grew out of that incident. First Responders Network of Idaho will create an opportunity for Idaho first responders, law enforcement, firefighters, and emergency medical services personnel to develop a custom network that will greatly enhance communications statewide. Before we get into those details, let's take a moment to learn more about FirstNet.
First responders are on the front line of our safety and security. Lives depend on their ability to communicate. FirstNet is developing a wireless network just for them, to modernize their communications and keep them connected every day and during every emergency. FirstNet was born out of the 9/11 Commission recommendation to enhance communications used by fire, police, and EMS. This united the public safety community, which pushed for their own communications network. As a result of their advocacy, Congress created FirstNet as the focal point for the first nationwide public safety broadband network. The network will put advanced technologies, applications, and devices into the hands of first responders to help them save lives and protect communities.
FirstNet represents a way for us to exchange information in a way and a speed and with a reliability that we've never even had available to us before.
With a system that's being proposed like FirstNet, that's going to be huge in our ability to get that data back and forth without having to worry about the public's need for data exchange as well.
So we're looking forward to the day when public safety is able to do the work really unthrottled, no matter where we are on the network.
We've got to make sure that when that police officer, that first responder needs information, no matter where it is in your location, it's got to be available, and it's got to be available right then. That's why FirstNet is so important.
We're excited about FirstNet because of the dedicated public safety spectrum that's going to be available to us in the event that something catastrophic happens.
First Responder Network of Idaho presents a great opportunity to modernize first responder communications in the state of Idaho. Under the existing system, first responders must compete on broadband networks with the general public.
So the public broadband network system, one of the big challenges with that is the fact that it's public. It's got a lot of users. It's not just first responders, it's everybody. So particularly when you have a major incident or a major event somewhere, a lot of times that system is overwhelmed and therefore not available. Well, in a crisis incident, that's not good for first responders. That's not good for the public.
Emergency medical services officials agree in Idaho's most rural areas, it's difficult to get cell coverage anywhere.
Well, just the coverage and the fact that there's a lot of dead space in the state of Idaho where you can't even get through to anybody. The interconnectability or interoperability between agencies that can't really talk to each other because they're on different channels and everybody has a different radio.
Even at Boise State University football games, law enforcement officers' broadband channels get overwhelmed.
At the football games in downtown Boise, they can't use their cell phones in the stadium or the parking lot because so many people are on the phones taking pictures, chatting, texting, and if they have an event that they need to talk about on the phone on something that's closed circuit, they can't do it. They can't get through.
The need to modernize state communication for first responders is vital to improve services, according to the manager of Idaho's EMS Center.
There's a lot of limitations to the network, to the data network right now. We need to get out of the Stone Age.
As part of the modernization emergency communications, the federal government selected a mobile broadband network to improve coverage throughout the United States, including in Idaho.
Well, the federal government has invested a very large amount of money for each of the states. So they have contributed over $7 billion to start the program. And now with the national RFP award for their partner, AT&T Wireless, that total contract's worth over $46 billion. So the federal government is building this national broadband network here in Idaho specifically for the first responders.
First Network of Idaho will provide police, fire, and emergency medical services with quick and valuable information that they can't access today.
Well, Idaho FirstNet's an opportunity for the first time for first responders to have something designed for them. This is going to be our opportunity to design what we need to meet our needs today as well as in the future.
Idaho first responders are excited about the potential of an exclusive, speedy broadband network.
Wow, the potential applications are really endless. We need to think about what we want, what we can use, what we want out in the field that we're not getting today. Idaho FirstNet can be exactly that. It can be what our first responders in Idaho need to do their job safely, effectively, and efficiently.
Thinking about potential information that fire departments need, the fire chief thinks of many possibilities.
Detection systems that are out there today are smart systems. They can tell us what sensor is going off, what smoke alarm's going off, where it's located, things along those lines. We could very easily be looking at a screen and know exactly where that unit is going off at, what's the closest entrance for us, and what's the closest staircase or whatever to get to it. In addition to that, we can get all this information that's coming in from where the power supply is coming into the building, where the natural gas is coming into the building, where the water sources are coming in, or the fire department connection for sprinkler systems, all those things that we either have to go out and have a pre-plan for, which is time consuming, and in today's environment, sometimes we don't have time to get all that information into the computer.
Idaho EMS officials also are excited about the possibilities of a dedicated broadband network. Take the example of handling a hazardous materials incident.
So right now, if an incident commander is on scene of a significant hazardous material incident, it can be a 10,000-gallon diesel spill in a river, it can be a weapons of mass destruction incident, a radiological incident, an explosive incident. When that incident commander, if they made one call to State Comm with that information, plus had some video or some pictures of what's going on scene, within 10 to 15 minutes, when we bring these subject matter experts together, we can provide this video and this visual to them, and they would have an excellent and a real-time idea of what's going on scene. It could definitely shine with our work with the Idaho Transportation Department. They are out there quite often. They're first on scene of an incident, an accident, even a mass casualty incident, an avalanche. And if we had that information available to us real-time, to be able to pass along to law enforcement that may be responding, EMS that may be responding, fire department that may be responding. It's a win-win situation. We need to get this information out to the responders as soon as possible.
Paramedics could benefit from being able to send and receive real-time information.
If we had a really sick patient, there are only two of us in the back of the aircraft and we're trying to do things to take care of the patient, we don't always have the time to call the hospital, let them know what we're bringing in or how the patient, the severity of the patient. It would be nice to even have a device that you could hook up to the patient that would live feed that data back and forth, that we wouldn't have to do a call unless we really needed to, that they would have the information that they got, vitals, patient condition,
A lot of EMS in Idaho is in a very, very rural communities with basic EMTs, and it would be so beneficial for those EMTs to have access to physicians in an ER, to be able to actually talk or face-to-face with them and get medical control, and be able to possibly make some decisions that they could not make in the back of an ambulance. In most cases, with basic level EMTs in these rural communities, they are not even allowed to give painkillers or medications to patients in the back of an ambulance. And being able to communicate directly face-to-face with a physician in an ER and get that authorization or get that medical control from that physician, that's extremely important.
Ultimately, using the latest technology with Idaho FirstNet will improve public safety.
The way I envision this looking forward into the 21st century is information is invaluable. As a police officer, if I'm responding to an event, a school shooting, God forbid, or some major natural disaster that is occurring as we're responding to it, and witnesses that are on scene or even victims that are on scene are live streaming what's going on, that is information, that's intelligence, that's data that can help me make a much, much more informed response decision. Tactical response decision or rescue response decision, all of those kinds of things. And having that data at my fingertips so you know what you're going into before you're actually into it.
The more information we give our responders, the more information we give the incident commanders, the safer we're all going to be on the fire ground. The safer the firefighters will be, the safer the citizens or the rescues that we're trying to make. We can execute those faster and safer at the same time, knowing what's going on, getting that information back and forth to make it safer for our first responders.
Ultimately, if communications can be improved for first responders, it will improve public safety and quality of life for Idaho citizens.
As we move into this FirstNet planning process, the outcomes that we will get from this have a chance to improve the quality of lives of our children, our families, and that's what we're about as elected officials. That's what we're about as community leaders. That's what we're about as safety personnel, is making sure that our families and our children are taken care of.
Now, Idaho Office of Emergency Management officials are holding a series of regional meetings in Idaho to present information about First Responders Network of Idaho and get feedback. They'd like first responders to dream big and think of how we might customize an exclusive broadband network for Idaho.
So it's very important for our first responder community to know that we're hosting several regional meetings across all the districts here in the state. So this is your opportunity to really outline what is it we want to be able to do today? What information do we need that we can't do right now? So what makes that pivotal difference to be able to do our jobs better and keep our people safe, both the public and our people that put their lives on the line every day? This is your opportunity to really articulate that. I relate it to buying a house. We're telling the builder exactly what we need and what it should look like. Great opportunity. We get one chance at this. So it's very important we all come together and define what we need. And when I say community, first responders, you know best the challenges that we face today and what could be better. But this is your opportunity, so I really want to encourage you, be a part of this. This is your chance to make a difference, not only for today, but for the citizens and the public and first responders for many years to come.
This is just one of those things that really, there's a plea to participate. We need to have your input. We need to have those first responders involved in this process because it's your career, it's your opportunity to make sure that you can serve the public the way you want to.
Well, the first 5 minutes of any fire is going to tell you how the next hour is going to go. The first hour is going to tell you how the next 8 hours are going to go. And so using that analogy that firefighters are used to, the more information, the more input we get from the firefighters of what they're looking for, the captains, the incident commanders, battalion chiefs, the fire chiefs, what everybody's looking for, the better the system will be for us at the very beginning when we started off.
After the regional meetings occur, the Idaho Office of Emergency Management will make a recommendation to Governor Butch Otter outlining the state's needs for first responders. And then the implementation phase is expected to begin in 2018.
The criticality of this is so important because this is a huge, huge investment that we have the opportunity to shape. And we have a short window of opportunity between now and January to make the most out of this network.
I think the opportunity exists today for all first responders, fire, police, EMS, and potentially who is designated as a first responder in the future. Is it a hospital room? Is it an emergency room within a hospital? Is it the emergency management within the county? Given the fact that we have an opportunity to shape and mold exactly what the first responder network is in Idaho, I would highly encourage every responder to be part of the outreach.